What's up guys, Excalibur here and welcome back to Star Ocean Anamnesis. So, today we're finishing up the last update with the character guide for Sarah. And as always, I've linked the Star Ocean Anamnesis English resources guide in the description below, so go check that out when you have time. Regardless, it's time to get started. Sarah is the second healer we've gotten, who is able to give the party a massive buff through the use of Angel Feather. Her first talent, Beat of My Drum, increases the AP recovery speed by 30% for all allies standing at long range. So whenever you're targeting an enemy, you have a little indicator that shows whether you're standing at long range or short range. Whenever you're standing at long range, you get this little buff, which means that's usually only the long range characters that get this because the attackers are always up close and personal. Her second talent, Healer's Touch, recovers 5% HP every 5 seconds for all the long-range weapon allies. And this one applies to characters that use long-range weapons like bows, the guns, and the daggers, and there's probably more I'm forgetting like the stabs, but these characters get a small health recovery every 5 seconds, so that basically means that sometimes you don't even have to heal them because they'll be at full health because of this talent. Then her third talent, Purge, nullifies poison and paralysis for the entire party for 90 seconds. So this is just a nice bonus that Sarah brings. You can use it for the mazes of poison and paralysis and it works there, or you could use it against bosses that are also capable of inflicting these status ailments. And lastly we have Premonitions, 80% chance of surviving a lethal attack at 10% HP or more. So this is just your standard 80-10 guts. It's great for healers because even if they get brought down to that amount of health, they could just heal everything right back up. Alright, now on to her battle skills. First up, we have Fairy Light, recovers some of all allies' HP, and it costs 60 AP. So this is just your standard AoE heal. Unfortunately, it takes quite a while to cast because of Sarah's slow cast times, but it's good nonetheless and you will be running it. Then up next we have Wind Blade. Unleash a blade made from air on your foe. Its power is determined by multiplying int by 190%. It does 2 hits, costs 20 AP, and it has a wind element. So this is one of Sarah's offensive spells. Unfortunately, because she already has 2 attacks that are kind of mandatory to run, it's unlikely that you'll actually be using this. Then we have Angel Feather. Raise all allies' 5 main stats by 20% for 20 seconds, and it costs 95 AP. So this is what sets Sarah apart from pretty much all of the other healers. It gives a massive boost to all the stats of all of your other party members, and you kind of want to try to have this up at all times. Then we also have Tornado. Hurl a spiraling wind current at your foe. Its power is determined by multiplying int by 460%. It does 2 hits, costs 35 AP, and it also has a wind element. This is the second one of Sarah's offensive skills, and it's pretty good when it comes to building her rush. Unfortunately, she has some slow rush gain, so you kind of need to use this to build your rush gauge in a reasonable amount of time. And finally, we have her rush. Healing Blast Hurricane creates swirling winds that blow back nearby foes. Its power is determined by multiplying int by 2000%. It has a wind element, and it recovers 70% of the party's HP and cures them from poison and paralysis. Now, as you can see, this rush doesn't exactly exist for its offensive capabilities. Because of that low multiplier, you kind of want to use this as the first rush in a combo as an opener. But the reason why you use this rush is because of that HP heal. 70% HP is that's a lot of HP, and that could basically bring everybody back up to full health. And the poison and paralysis cure is also nice for just in case you're fighting anything that can inflict those status ailments. Overall, it's decent for a non-ace healer, but we've seen better. Now let's move on to equipment. Sarah unfortunately doesn't have that much choice considering that she's not really an offensive character. So I recommend the Cellite Rod, which you can get from the Koro Reverse event shop. The event should have its last day right now, so get the farming and get this rod if you want to run Sarah. It reduces her cast times by 10%, which is not a lot, but every little bit helps when you don't really have any cast time reduction to begin with. And as an accessory, I recommend the Protection Armor 4, which you could have gotten from GA Reverse. It reduces the damage you take by 10%, which is a lot considering it's just flat damage, so highly recommended. Alright, so the skills I recommend you run with Sarah are as follows. First, we have Angel Feather to keep everybody max buffed at all times. Then we have Fairy Light. Obviously, she's a healer, so she needs to have a healing spell of some kind. And then we have Tornado, because it's great for building rush, and she kind of needs it to if she even wants to rush during the match. Now, Sarah unfortunately does not really have any offensive combos, but she does have one in particular. This is great for building your rush gauge. So, I recommend you do both hits of your normal attack into Tornado into another Tornado. And if you have her seated, you could fit in a third Tornado. So like I said, this combo is good for building rush. If you see that your team is still full on health and Angel Feather is up, spam the hell out of this combo to get your rush up. Aside from this, you would cast Fairy Light and Angel Feather separately as you would with any other support spell. Don't worry about the cancel bonus because Sarah doesn't really have any offensive capability to begin with. So the only thing you should worry about is utility. So in short, Sarah's main use is to cast Angel Feather, which gives the entire party a 20% buff to all of their stats, which usually means more damage output, but it also increases their defenses, so it gives them a bit more survivability. Her talents also give the long-range allies some slight support in the form of AP and HP recovery, which is always nice, and she technically could be used in the Poison and Paralysis maze as Poison nullification and Paralysis nullification fodder. And sometimes you have bosses that also inflict status ailments, like the Axe Beak right now, or the Colossal Beak. He inflicts paralysis, so I guess you could use her for that. Unfortunately, Sarah suffers from having some slow cast times, and the fact that she needs to keep Angel Feather up at all times sometimes means that she can't heal because she's casting that. Luckily, she does have the talent that supports the long-range allies through some HP recovery, which means if you have a team of all long-range allies, sometimes you don't even have to heal, and you could just keep casting Angel Feather and try to build your rush. Overall, she's not that bad. Not as great as Reyna, but she's usable. And that does it for the Sarah guide. And that also means I'm finally done with this update. Yes! But the Christmas characters are coming next week. No, just when I thought I had some time to rest. Dang it. I'm going to try to get those out earlier instead of waiting for the last minute like I did with these. But, hope that was helpful, and I guess I'll see you all next time. Peace!